Welcome back to another episode of the NeuroAnimation Grow Your Brain podcast. I'm your host, Maddie, and today I am joined by a very special guest, Nicole, who I've actually had the pleasure of meeting multiple times, first at Fast Forward Summits, my event in New York City, and then now through NeuroAnimation Bootcamp. Today, Nicole is going to share her experience going through stroke recovery. Nicole, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Maddie. It's nice to be here.
I know your story, but I know lots of listeners probably have no idea. So why don't you first start by taking us back to what your life was like before your stroke?
So before the stroke, I was actually a teacher in a high school. I taught French and Spanish. And in the last few years of my life, I had also been an administrator. I was a deputy principal of a school. And I just retired in June of 2024. And then my first holiday as a retiree was to the Far East. I went to Dubai and then was going to Oman with my husband. And actually, it was while I was in Oman that I had the stroke. So unfortunately, I was actually on an interview while I was having the stroke. And I could tell I was having the stroke, but my face dropped. And I could not get my words out to a question they asked. So unfortunately, I was in Oman, quite far away from home when it happened. Luckily, though, they were able to do a craniotomy pretty quickly there. And then I was in Oman for a month. And then it was decided by my husband and my sister that I probably should move back to London because a lot of my family lives in Europe. So I was in London in the hospital in St John's Wood for 5 months doing rehab there. And then in May of last year, I moved back to Bermuda and I've been continuing my progress there. And then luckily last year, in November of last year, I was able to come to NeuroAnimation for the first time.
To me, your journey is remarkable, Nicole, the recovery journey that you've been on so far. And hearing from you that you were in Oman at the time that you had the stroke, you were literally on an interview.
Yes.
And you said that the person asking you you said that the interviewer noticed.
They did. They said, we think you're having a stroke, Nicole. And I said, I think so too.
What was that moment like for you?
Quite terrifying. Because also my husband was not in the hotel at the time when I had the stroke, so I knew that I would have to get in contact with him. So I didn't know how long I was going to be without help.
So what did you do? Because you were on a video call at the time.
So they spoke to me the whole time saying, don't worry, Nicole, we're going to call your husband, we're going to call your husband, we're going to call your husband. I called over to the hotel phone to try and call reception, but nobody answered. And that's how my husband found me. He found me on the floor holding the phone.
And then you were rushed into the hospital in Oman.
In Oman, yeah. So I went by ambulance to Oman to the hospital, and luckily there was somebody there that was able to perform the craniotomy. And so I was there for a month.
What did your rehab journey look like in those early days?
It was very ad hoc in Oman. I mean, they tried hard, but I mean, it was very there was no schedule. It was like maybe an hour here, maybe an hour there. You didn't even know who was going to turn up. My husband and my sister were like, this is not good enough. We need to go somewhere where she's going to get proper rehab. So much of my family and friends are in Europe that we thought that was the best place for me rather than maybe going to the States. Because in Bermuda, a lot of people go to like Spalding or Boston. But I stayed in London for 5 months.
And you have a strong family network there, so it semed sort of like a natural choice.
Yeah, because my sister lives in England and my daughter is at university in the UK too. So it seemed like, and because a lot of my family cousins live in Gibraltar, which is near Spain, they were able to come often to see me there.
How would you say that this stroke really affected you initially, and what was your rehab like when you got to the UK?
Well, when I got to the UK, it was like a total difference to Oman because they were very regimented. So I would get up in the morning, and from 9 o'clock in the morning to like 5 o'clock in the evening, I would do rehab, either OT, PT, speech and language, music therapy. I did a whole bunch of things. Massage.
Music therapy?
I did music therapy, yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
It was nice, and they had me singing, but I'm not a very good singer, so that didn't change after the stroke either.
Oh my goodness!
Before and after, I was the same. I was really bad, and one day I was singing, and I was trying to get my voice going, and I was singing that the nurse thought I was screaming, and came in to make sure I was okay. I was like, no, it's okay. I'm just trying to sing. That's how bad a singer I am.
Oh my goodness! I don't believe it though.
No,
I don't believe it.
I'm not going to sing now,
we could have a demonstration right
I'm
here.
all good, and nobody wants that.
So this was quite recent that you had your stroke. You're less than 2 years out from your injury. And you've already been to NeuroAnimation in this past November, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this is my second time.
What made you decide to come, and what was that like?
Well, her name is Maddie. So when I was in London, I was like always looking for something, some inspiration to help me move on with my stroke, because I said there's got to be more than this. Unfortunately, one of the first posts I saw was talking about how many people who have stroke commit suicide. And I was like, this is not for me. That is not the person I am. There's got to be more than this. And then I came across your page. So I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. I want to live my life.
And not let it stop you, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Because you're right. There's so much negative energy out there regarding the stroke journey and, being a victim as opposed to being able to take control of your life and all of that. And so I think it's important to cultivate this positive mindset to think and understand that, yes, we can make progress after months, years, decades after our injuries.
Absolutely.
So it's very encouraging. So you ended up coming to NeuroAnimation.
I did, yes, last November.
What were your first impressions of it?
Well, obviously, it's different when you see somebody else doing it to actually be there. I mean, it's an amazing facility. I mean, the screen is amazing, and it's so immersive when you're there. I mean, I was a little bit like, how is this going to work? But, I didn't have like one big miracle, but I've had lots of little small gains, which kind of adds up to some really good things.
Had you come in with any specific goals? I know you've made tons of progress since you've come.
I wanted to be able to use my hand a little bit more, which I have, but I mean, I still have more to go. And my ankle needs a bit more stability, but those are still things I'm working on. People have said to me, my voice is better than it was before. The intonation is better.
It's all that singing that you did.
Exactly. My gait is longer. I can stand for longer. I've gone back to driving.
And your coach, Caden, had told me that before your first boot camp, you were mostly in a wheelchair.
I was mostly in the wheelchair, yes.
And now you're not.
No, I'm not. So basically what I started to do when I got back home was try to leave my wheelchair at home as much as I could. And if I went out with people, I would leave the wheelchair in the car or at home and walk further every time.
Wow. I mean, that in and of itself is just such a huge improvement. You can see.
So, my friends would like come to take me out for lunch, and they were like, "Are we going to take the wheelchair?" I'll be like, "No, let's leave it behind today."
And you take your cane instead.
Yeah, take my cane instead.
You must be so proud. That's a pretty substantial gain. That's amazing progress right there.
It's a good big gain.
This time around, I know you're going to be wrapping up soon your second round of boot camp. What were your goals this time around?
Similarly to before, probably just like more hand movement and arm movement and more stability in my ankle, because my foot rolls quite a lot. And I'd really like to get rid of this AFO because I really hate it.
Yes, I always hate all the braces and things too, working on getting rid of them as well.
Also, the other thing for me is the NeuroAnimation, is the mental clarity it gave me.
Talk to me about that.
So I felt, when I came back from NeuroAnimation, I felt really clear in my head, not foggy like I had done before. So when you leave NeuroAnimation, they give you a virtual reality headset to continue your progress when you get home. And sometimes when I feel a bit fuzzy-headed, I will do the VR headset, and it helps me clear my head.
I do the VR as well a few days a week when I'm not doing the boot camp, and I find it is like an instant mood. It elevates my mood. It's a huge boost, and I leave feeling so happy and good and ready to take on the day.
Exactly. It really is a great addition to what we do at the boot camp. So since I've done the boot camp, I've also gone back to driving. I've signed up to do a counsellor course. Wow. So I could do peer counselling for people that have strokes.
Yes. Oh, that is amazing. And I know you live in Bermuda, and you've mentioned before that there's not a ton in terms of like therapy.
I mean, some of the therapy is not great. I mean, the hospital itself, there's individuals that are very good. But my husband and I, we have taken over the Bermuda Stroke Association, so we're trying to boost the help there for survivors and caregivers.
Wow.
So that's what we're working on right now.
So, I mean, Nicole, it sounds like you've had a pretty incredible past 2 rounds of boot camp at NeuroAnimation, and the gains are only continuing.
Yeah, they are continuing.
Do you think you would come back for a 3rd round?
I would love to. I would love to come back for a 3rd round. I just find it is such an invigorating experience. It really kind of gives you a boost for the next part of your progress.
I think part of it, too, at least from what I've noticed myself going through it, is the team. Just they are so incredibly supportive and there to help you every step of the way, and they're so invested in every client's recovery. I find that to be extremely motivating.
Yeah, I mean, everybody there is so lovely, all the coaches. I mean, Caden obviously has been my coach both times I've come. So he and I have got to build a really good rapport.
Yes, yeah. Talk to me a little bit about what it's like working with your specialist, Caden.
I mean, he's great. He's very encouraging all the time. You know, he knows how to get me motivated, you know, and he's very supportive. Because obviously there are some times when things don't necessarily go the way you want them to do. Or like when I'm working on my ankle, I can be scared because it rolls so easily. But he's very supportive all the time. And he's like, you know, you've got this, you've got this.
One thing that I feel like I've noticed with my specialist, working with him over the past, you know, however many boot camps, is, like you said, you really develop a relationship with your specific specialist. And I feel like Santiago, he really knows how to push my buttons
exactly.
in just the right way to get me to do something and also remain motivated. So there's something to be said for the relationships that you build with the team.
Yeah, 100%. But then having said that, even though I have a really good relationship with Caden, I mean, everybody else there is lovely. You know, like everyone that you speak to, from the reception when you get there, Hannah is brilliant.
Yes.
To the people, all the coaches, everyone is so nice. It's a great atmosphere there. And also this time, I feel because we stayed in the Fairfield, we've kind of made closer contact with other survivors, which has been really good too.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite things about coming here is being able to meet the other clients who are going through the boot camp at the same time and then doing little activities together, because a lot of us, we travel from far away and we don't know anyone here or don't know what to do. Like you and I, we went to the art museum last weekend.
Lovely, yeah, that was a really nice activity that we did.
And what are we thinking to do next?
We're hoping to go to the zoo, Maddie.
Yes, I can't wait. I love the zoo and I love seeing animals, so I hope that the weather pans out for that.
I hope the weather pans out too. So that has been a great thing, being at the camp, but also meeting the other people. Every morning in that reception is a different story. And so now to connect with other people and hear other people's stories of hope and progress.
And it's also motivating, I feel, and very inspiring.
100%.
Hearing other clients' stories, and then you realize you're not alone in this journey, right? Like there are others, there are all these people just like us who are experiencing similar struggles, and maybe some of the things they've tried, we can try, and that can help us as well. Nicole, because I'm sure we have quite a few listeners on here who are surely very inspired by your story. Maybe they're also interested in coming to NeuroAnimation, but aren't sure. So what type of advice could you give to someone who's considering?
I would say if you can manage it, do it. Because it's very different, because it works on the brain rather than the physical, even though you do work on the physical as well. I think that is a very different approach, but very worthwhile approach.
And Nicole, what advice would you give for someone else who has had a stroke early on in their recovery journey?
Just keep going forward. I mean, obviously look back to where you've come from and the progress that you made, but don't keep dwelling on the past, because that could be very, you know, I always say comparison is a theft of joy. So you have to be very careful with that. But remember that you can only really go forward. Every day is a different day, and just keep going. And every day, even though you don't notice it, that you've got small improvements every day.
Every day is a beautiful day to be alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we are very lucky to have this opportunity to work at our recovery together.
Exactly. Make new memories.
Yes, ma'am. What advice would you give to someone who's navigating traveling to NeuroAnimation alone or with a carer or family member?
Yeah. I mean, we've been very lucky here. We use a caring company based in Ohio to help us out, because I have difficulty, as you know, with the left-hand side. So we have somebody come in the morning to help me get ready for NeuroAnimation, help me with a shower and getting dressed. And when they came last time, I actually had somebody stay overnight in the room with me every night to help me if I need to get up in the night. This time I don't need that.
Wow. Wait, so that is actually a very significant improvement then. You don't need that overnight care anymore.
No, not anymore. So I just have somebody come and help me get ready for bed. So if you do need somebody to help, there is services here. And NeuroAnimation will give you the right people to help you out.
Amazing.
Yeah. So if you're worried, you know, speak to Robin at Sitting House. She is very helpful, and she'll be able to give you advice. And they were able to help us, provide us with like baths, chairs, and things like that, equipment that we needed. And then actually we bought some stuff, and they stored it for us. So we had it again when we came back.
Yeah, so it's great to know that there's so many resources. If you're nervous, if someone is nervous to come to NeuroAnimation alone, to know that there are resources and companies that can help.
I just want to say thank you to Maddie for being an inspiration to all of us and for being positive. I think that really spreads positivity to everybody else. and we've really hopefully established a great community here.
Well,
Both-
right back at you, Nicole.
Both the survivors and the caregivers, I think, have really made good bonds here.
Exactly, and especially this round of boot camp, we've really gotten close with some of the other clients who are going through it. And that, I think, is one of the strengths of the NeuroAnimation program, is that our community stays connected, and we have group chats and Zoom calls and all of this to stay connected and feel like we're a part
And
of
trivia.
And trivia night, yes. Exactly. Shout out to any grads who are listening to this. You can sign up for trivia soon. I'll be sending out the link. And for any of our listeners who may have suffered a brain injury or a stroke and are looking to regrow your brain as well, head to neuroanimation.com, and until next time, keep growing your brain.